So the Clippers and Lakers game was much better than the Nets-Warriors game. It was kind of looking like it was going to be a blowout early on, and I was kind of frustrated. I was thinking that I was going to end up watching 2 games worth of just blowout, uncontested games. But the Lakers managed to come back in the game and make it competitive for a majority of the rest of the game until the Clippers kind of pulled away late in the fourth. But it was still a good game. I think there's a lot to talk about with both teams, good and bad. So I'm just going to get right into it. First, I'm going to start with the Clippers. I really liked the implementation of Nick Batum in the starting lineup. I know that Marcus Morris was injured, but honestly, I wouldn't even just be so quick to put Marcus Morris back in that starting lineup because people were a bit concerned with the contract that he got because they don't know how he necessarily fits with this team. Marcus Morris is someone that appears to be the perfect role player. He can defend against multiple positions. On offense, he can shoot three, put the ball on the floor a little bit. He's got some athleticism. He's someone that seems like he can be the perfect role player, but only when he actually plays his role, because there's too many times where he tries to step outside of his role and be more than he's asked to be. And that can be a problem when you're playing with star players like Kawhi, PG. Those are ultimately the guys that you want having the ball the most. Those are the guys that you want taking the most shots. And that's why I was pleasantly surprised with Nick Batum last night, because although he didn't put up crazy stats or anything, he wasn't exactly lighting it up. I think he only had 3 points. He hit 1 3 at some point in the game. But he was just really playing within his role. He was spacing the floor for guys like Kawhi and PG. Whenever he got the ball, he wasn't trying to do too much with it. He made some really nice passes in the game. I believe he had 6 assists. He was really helping the offense flow and stay in motion, and I really, really liked that. So Nick Batum was nice, but I don't think they're going to end up starting him long term. I think they're going to end up starting Marcus Morris once he comes back healthy, just because I think he's better on the defensive end. And he also did get that extension, 4 years, $64 million. So I feel like they might want to be starting him because of that. They're going to be kind of incentivized to start him because of that. I mean, at the same time, though, Luke Kennard did get a 4-year, $64 million extension too, and he's going to be coming off the bench. So you never know. We'll just have to wait and see what they do, I guess. The main concern that I would say that most people probably have with the Clippers, though, after watching tonight's game, was the lack of killer will that they seem to have, because they let the Lakers get back into that game pretty easily, it seemed like. And that was something that caused them to lose in that playoff series last year against the Nuggets. They were blowing leads. And it's not good when you're up on a team if you cannot put them away and you struggle to really put teams away and you allow them to come back into games. Because even mentally, when teams are going up against you, even if you're up 20 on them, they're going to believe that they can come back in the game. And look, it was great that they ended up winning in the end, but that's something that they need to really address. I'm not saying that they should have beat the Lakers by 20 every single quarter and ended up winning the game by 80, but you can't allow for there to be that drastic of a turnaround that quickly in a game. I mean, they were up 20, I believe, by the end of the first quarter, and then by halftime they were only up by 2. You just can't allow that. And a bigger reason why the Lakers came back into the game was because the Clippers were just making sloppy mistakes. They were, having turnovers, letting the Lakers get out in transition, just bad mistakes like that where it seemed like they were kind of letting their guard down and thinking that, they were going to kind of cruise through this game, right? But that wasn't the case because the Lakers ended up coming back. So that's the main negative takeaway for the Clippers. But their defense did look good. They were collapsing on LeBron. They were making it hard for him to really get to the rim. He was hitting a lot of threes. He was, hit some free throws. I don't think he had too many finishes at the rim in the half court. So they were making it hard on him. So that was good on their part. They were trying to make it hard on Anthony Davis. I thought they could have done a bit of a better job of not allowing him to get into rhythm. I thought that maybe they could have tried to bring a double team earlier and force the ball out of his hands. But I thought they did a pretty good job on AD and LeBron. The defense looked pretty solid. Offensively, I mentioned earlier, they had a really good flow to their offense. I think that Serge Ibaka is proving to be a really underrated pickup because his three-point shooting is going to be very valuable because, for one, it's just going to space the floor more than a guy like Montrezl Harrell could or Zubac could or can. And Ibaka also has the ability to pump fake, put the ball on the floor, and make a pass. And there were a few times where he did that in the game, and like he would pump fake, one dribble, go around his defender, make a pass, and the defense would be scrambling and the Clippers would get open looks because of that. And that's just adding another dimension to this offense. So yeah, overall, I was pretty impressed with the Clippers. I wasn't impressed with the fact that they let the Lakers back into the game, but they showed a lot of positive signs, and I think that this was a big win for them. It was big that they were able to, yes, blow the lead, but then still hold on and end up winning the game, especially against the Lakers, who are the favorites going into this season by most people. In most people's eyes, this Lakers team is the favorite to win the championship. So to beat them in game one, I know it's just the first game of the season, and it was the Lakers ring night. A lot of times teams lose on ring night, but still, it was a big win for the Clippers, and good for them. Let's see if they can continue to improve on this win throughout the season. On the other hand, I was not very impressed with the Lakers, and I feel like most of that has to do with the coaching. Defensively, I thought that they were good. I mean, they have a lot of good defensive players on the team, so they're going to be a good defensive team this year, just like they were last year. But I did like the strategy of putting Anthony Davis on Kawhi. We saw them do that in the finals where they put Anthony Davis on Jimmy Butler, and that made life tough on him. So to see them do that this game, putting Anthony Davis on Kawhi, was good to see because Anthony Davis actually did a pretty good job on him, and he made life tough on Kawhi. He didn't have the best or most efficient night shooting the ball. He put up a good amount of points, but he wasn't entirely extremely efficient shooting the ball, and Anthony Davis played a big part in that. I hope to see them use him as a guy that can defend 1 through 5 very often this season because he can really defend 1 through 5 and make a huge impact on that end. So that was a good decision. But offensively, I was very disappointed with this team. I feel like their offense was just lazy. It was, oh, let's give LeBron the ball, let's give AD the ball. And I know that LeBron, throughout his career, he's liked to be ball dominant, acting as a point forward, but you have to know what the personnel on your team is. There's not too many guys on this team that can really play make. It's LeBron and probably Dennis Schroeder. And that's basically it, honestly. It's just LeBron and Schroeder. And that's fine, but I didn't like the fact that they didn't even try to use LeBron as a scorer. I felt like with Schroeder in the starting lineup, there could have been times where Schroeder was the ball handler and he was looking, or the team was running an offensive set to get LeBron a bucket, right? Why not have plays where LeBron is off ball and he's coming off screens where he's curling to the rim, getting a full head of steam, going to the bucket, and Schroeder can find him and LeBron can make a play out of that? Or why not, at least if LeBron has the ball, maybe set him screens higher up in the half court so he can get more of a head of steam going to the basket? I just didn't like the stagnation that I saw on this offense. There was a lot of standing and watching, whereas the Clippers, there was a lot more movement on their end on the offensive end. The Lakers, like I said, just very stagnant, a lot of ball watching, and they're not a very hard team to game plan for, honestly. I mean, they're going to win games just because they're more talented than teams, and I think that they can out-talent every single team in the league. But looking at how deep the Clippers were and looking at how good the Nets played last night, say the Lakers have to match up with the Clippers in the playoffs, I'm not sure they can just out-talent the Clippers. If they meet with the Nets in the finals, I'm not sure they can just out-talent the Nets. And that's the thing. This team last year had concerns about their depth. People had concerns about their depth and how that was going to fare in a playoff matchup against a team like the Clippers, or maybe against the Bucks if they met them in the finals. Another big issue with the Lakers last night was that they shot 9 of 29 from 3. But honestly, that's not very uncharacteristic of them. They weren't a great three-point shooting team last year, and I don't think they're going to be very good this season either, to be honest, just because they have pretty much the same personnel. Dennis Schroeder, they brought him in, and he's a good three-point shooter, but I don't know how much better he's going to make them there. Montrezl Harrell isn't really a three-point shooter. Wesley Matthews is probably about equivalent as, as a shooter as Danny Green was, so they haven't really made too many changes. Marc Gasol, though, was supposed to be a big addition because he could act as a stretch five, right? But the thing with Gasol is that his aggressiveness is just so inconsistent, and it feels like more often than not, he's not very aggressive on the offensive end. And that can be hard because you know that he can shoot the three. You know that he is a better player than what he shows on the court, right? But when you're not being aggressive on the offensive end and you're not looking to shoot when you're open, it limits you and it limits your team. And unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of nights like last night where Gasol is just, you look at the box score or even, watch the game or look at the box score and you're just asking yourself, what did Marc Gasol really do tonight? I mean, last night, what did he do? He didn't attempt any shots. He had 1 assist. He had 1 rebound. And defensively, it's not like he was great either. He had 5 fouls. He didn't get to play very much because he was in such bad foul trouble. So his debut was pretty disastrous. Hopefully he can turn it around and just start to be more aggressive, because if he's shooting like 3 to 4 threes a game, he can be a very big addition to this Lakers team. And I just don't know if he's going to do that, and that's tough for them. Two positives that the Lakers can really take from last night's game was the play of Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell, because those guys were scoring the ball pretty effectively, and last year that was a pretty big issue for the Lakers. You had LeBron, you had AD, but there were a lot of nights where people were saying, okay, who's the third scoring option, because they weren't getting much help from other guys, right? But now they have Schroeder, they have Harrell. These are guys that are going to consistently give you good scoring outputs every single game, or at least most nights, and that's going to be good because it's just going to lessen the workload on guys like Anthony Davis and LeBron.